And together with this, ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause as a welcome on stage Miss Lach Baniya, for 30 under 30, founder at Manal Property Advisory. Welcome.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Lach. I am here as a cross-border founder. I have been operating between Myanmar and Dubai, and in the intersection of running media company, marketing, import-export trading, and real estate. So I have seen like both sides of the thing, like what happens when the market hits its acceleration, and what happens when the market just like miss the opportunity, right? So I think we today have a very interesting discussion on like the market landscape where Vietnam is right now. I think this is very exciting time. We are operating in Vietnam. So to give a little bit of context, would you like to share a bit about the current situation of Vietnam?
Sure. Thank you, Lach. Good afternoon, everyone. And those from the back, please be seated so that we can be all this together. First, welcome and thank you to be here with us. And welcome to Ho Chi Minh cities for those that freshly arrived in our cities. So let me share some slides with you first to give a little bit of context before our conversations here with Lach. Our topic today is about the mega developments we see in Vietnam in general and in this southern part of the country in particular. Now, some of you may wonder what all of this have anything to do with technology companies that I believe many of those you are from. Just hear me out. Spend 45 minutes of your time. Hear me out, and I think this would be a very, very interesting value proposition for you, all right? And very relevant to business scaling topics that we have as the topic for this event. All right, so let me go quickly through the macroeconomic snapshot. I think you've heard a lot of this over the last few days, so I will go very quickly. Last year was the year of momentum. So we achieved an incredible GDP growth of 8.02%. And the GDP per capita also reached 5,000, making Vietnam become an upper middle income country. And the market confidence is rising with the steady flows of FDIs, and especially last year we had a very big milestone that Vietnam have been upgraded to emerging market from the frontier one. So that is a significant milestone and paving the way for a lot more capitals to flow in, especially into the stock market. Okay, so moving forward, we have 2026 with the target of growing double digit. And this is going to be a very ambitious and challenging objectives that we need to achieve. But we would need to have 3 strategic breakthroughs in terms of institutions, infrastructure, and a high-quality human resource. Okay, so let you have a little bit of visuals into what kind of regions that Vietnam have. We have what we call it Red River Delta, with the orange color up in the north, which is one of the significant economic growth area. And we have the very long green area of north and central and coastal regions. And it brings it down here as the yellow region, which is where we are now, the southeast region. And let's see a little bit of the priority sectors that we are tracked today as we go forward to the next year. To prepare for that, we would set up last year for a lot of reforms and different directions that the company are following and paving the way for these private sectors. And I'm sure that you can see you are in some of these sectors, especially innovation, R&D, renewable energies, which are the strengths and advantages of European companies. Okay, a little bit of the map here for the Southeast regions. We have Ho Chi Minh City is right in the central, and up in the northeast, we have Dong Nai province, where our new international airport is. And down in the south, we have a cluster of deep sea ports, which will make perfect for the ambitions of global gateway, the next Singapore that we talk about. And adjunctions to Ho Chi Minh City and Dong Nai, we have other southeast and southwest provinces. And here are the new global gateway, which is our vision and ambition to make this region to become. So we have Ho Chi Minh City, which is a financial hub and technology and talent hub. And we have Long Thanh, which is the international airport, and whole ecosystem around it. The blue one would be the cluster of the sea logistic hubs that I just shared with you. And the purple one would be a long coastal stretch that would make it perfect for the tourism and hospitalities. As you can see that we have a lot of space and land to develop than, let's say, Singapore, Hong Kong, which is a little bit limited in terms of space. All right, so everyone talk about IFC. And here we are, the physical area of the IFC, which is beyond the river, right next to our District 1 right now, where we would be building some of the iconic buildings in the next couple of years. And we already have land allocated, and some of the major investors already taken up the big slots. So we would have an EOB tower, we would have an aviation tower, we would have an energy towers, and so on and so forth. So many of the investors have been designated to develop this tower, which would be physical areas in Ho Chi Minh cities. And from here, many financial institutions from overseas would be set up their offices here to enjoy the incentives and very flexible legislations of the IFC. One thing that many people ask me that they are concerned about the capital flowing in and out of the country. And now with the new IFC, let me share with you that there's no longer a worry because capital and profits can be coming in and repatriated to the host country very flexibly. Flexible financial reporting system and also specialized court within the IFC using the common law. So this is a set of unprecedented incentive and jurisdictions that we talk about the new IFC. Okay, this is the key areas in the IFCs that we talk about. So money was not coming in a random way, but in a very structured and institutionalized way. So we are talking about an ecosystem of aviation financial hub, which officially opened in Singapore 3 days ago. So we officially announced to the world the so-called Asia-Pacific Aviation Financial Hub 3 days ago in Singapore. So the same ecosystem of finance would be officially opened within the IFC. Okay, so some of you may know that we have a dual city IFC, one in Ho Chi Minh City, which would attract large-scale financial institutions, and one in Da Nang, which will attract the more innovation ones, like fintech, carbon credits, derivatives, blockchains, cryptos, so on and so forth. And the dual model would be the financial institution would be located within the physical IFC area, and money will be flowing to the manufacturing hub, C hubs, and different physical areas elsewhere in the region. the new Long Thanh Airport, which over the course of the last few weeks, I have taken several investors and high-level guests to visit. And we actually went dune bashing inside the airport, which is still now under construction. Okay, some of the very exciting developments. We would have the free trade zones around the airport. So this is something very new and is being shaped up in Vietnam. Again, with also an unprecedented set of regulations and paving the way for more trades and making Vietnam a really important node in the global supply chains. So we are talking about a massive area around the new airport with the logistic zone, production zone, and the commercial and service. Okay, I go quickly through. And in the last panels, we have delved in to talk about the connectivity to and from the new airport, still very limited. So here we are, the development plan for the 13 metro lines linking a different part of Ho Chi Minh to the new airport. So, and beyond that, between Ho Chi Minh and Dong Nai, and between this Southeast region to the Mekong Delta for all the agricultural and aqua products goods to go through. Okay, some of the roadmap of those metro lines, and that will bring me to the very last slide. Hopefully it brings some visuals for you as a context for our conversation. Thanks.
Wow,
Lach,
Hank,
please.
that is amazing. And I think it's very, so much clarity where the country is trying to get to, where the direction is going. So I noticed you were talking about like the foundational, 2025 being the foundational year, and 2026 now being the year for acceleration. Can you unpack a bit of that?
I think I'm sure that the audience have heard a lot in different presentations, but let me just have a little recap here. That last year we have a preparation and a lot of reforms, and this year we move into execution. So preparation and reform in terms of the legal system. As many of you here see, and I see some lawyers here as well, last year we have the whole new set of major law being added or renewed. We're talking about the law of investment, land law, energy laws, PPP laws, and so on and so forth. So it's really set the new framework for Vietnam's next decade of development. And we also see historic institutional reforms. We merged from 33 to 34. So basically, we reduced the number of provinces and cities to half. And we removed the district level altogether. So it's now a two-level administrative local authorities, not three. So that's, and especially as we are speaking now, we just finished our 14th Party Congress last week. So it's all the leadership positions locked in, the political cabinet locked in, the strategic priority of the country in the next decade also locked in. So there's no more wait. There's only time for execution now. And we can see that from both government, public sectors, and private sectors as well. A lot of movement on the ground here.
Yeah, I think we can have a sit. I think that is very interesting because since I'm coming from Dubai, I can see how growth was compressed within the span of like 7 to 8 years when there were much more clarity in the direction and the governance. So that leads me to another question. Ho Chi Minh alone contributes about 25% of Vietnam's GDP. And with provincial mergers, linking it with Binh Dao, Binh Rai, and Vung Tau, right? Am I pronouncing it correctly? Okay, yes, please. So yeah, what makes this cluster Vietnam's economic gravity today? What's your thought on that?
Okay, so let's talk about Southeast region as the most important economic growth engines in Vietnam. So after the merger, we have the Greater Ho Chi Minh cities acquiring Bình Dương and Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu, and we also have two other provinces, which is Tây Ninh and Đồng Nai. Altogether, it contributes almost 1/3 of the country's GDP. So even relatively modest in the total area, but it's very important, if not to say the most important. And it has always been a commercial hub, and now with a much bigger development space after the merger, we have a so-called triangle of developments. We are talking about the Greater Ho Chi Minh being the hub for innovation, finance, talent pool, and we have Bình Dương, which has always been the most established industrial manufacturing province of Vietnam, and Đồng Nai as well. And with Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu, we have a cluster of seaports, and with the new international airport in Đồng Nai area. And if some of you here visit Đồng Nai, an area of the new airport, it's actually in the middle of nowhere. It's a 5,000 hectares airport in the middle of what is usually a rubber plant, a vast area of rubber plants. So we actually have so much land around that to develop into what we call an ecosystem of air logistics. So as I shared earlier, we have a Asia-Pacific Aviation Financial Hub just established a few days ago, paving the way for the like of Airbus, Boeing, Pratt Whitney, and so many big names to be here and set up their office inside the IFC, and manufacturing and MRO, maintenance, repair, and overhaul hubs in the new airport. So there's the whole new expansions and much bigger and complementary each other kind of ways when after the merger. So we will be seeing something similar to the Greater Bangkok, the Greater Bay Area in China that we are talking now, happening in this region.
So when we talk about the mega development, it is often framed in terms of like ports, airports, and transport corridors. Beyond the physical layer, what enabling infrastructure, for example, digital energy and grid resilience, will matter in the next 10 years or a decade?
I think let me start by saying that the topic that we discussed seem to be about the physical infrastructure, right? Port, logistics, metro, airports, things like that. But let me just say that the technology is actually the enabler of scale. So if we want to talk about the whole aviation ecosystem, if we talk about the whole sea logistic ecosystem, it has to have a lot of technology that enable it to scale. So let's unpack it a little. I think Vietnam has a very, very good digital infrastructure. Our internet speed is actually top of the world. We have fixed broadband ranking 9th globally, and mobile internet ranking 12th globally. So the infrastructure, and we have 80% of the population owning smartphones. So basically we are talking about every adult, not excluding babies and very senior people. So it's a lot of digital infrastructure already in place. And energy as well. Energy is for the next development decades, we would need a massive energy development, and the growth drivers always be on the manufacturing side, data center, the EV ecosystems that we really want to make our city green, and urbanization. So all those growth drivers would require much more energy as the infrastructure and data as well. So for data, we had been talking about data because we had been talking about digital transformation for decades. But data remain a problem. Data remain very fragmented, or even the absence of the data, and make companies very hard to adopt AI or automations or any digital transformation. So I think next phase of data would have to be the interoperability. So it link up, and if we talk about a whole smart city, or if we talk about the whole sea logistic, smart port systems, then it has to be data that link up different parts of the ecosystem altogether. Or, as Delphine already brought up, the VNEID, which is a super app that try to bring all the administrative procedures together, then it still needs a lot of data to be streamlined. We talk about everything that we want Vietnamese citizens ever need, from our own IDs and house ownership, car registrations, passport renewal, everything in one super app, and it's still a lot to do with the streamlining of our own data from different offline sources to that. So that's a lot of work to do in terms of bringing data all together and make it live, real time, and sufficient from different sources.
So as an entrepreneur, I'm always looking into like what kind of opportunities are there in this kind of development. So what do you think? Because we have a lot of tech companies here. What do you think? Like, how can they plug in their solution in the development?
I think this brings us to the points that the tech company had to lean in and engage. And with this kind of all the physical infrastructure at scales, then how tech companies can be part of it. I think the solution is to engage and to form a meaningful partnership. And it may not necessarily come in with a particular product, but you are here, talk to people, engage, form partnerships with local, and actually be the one from early stage to help shape things up. For example, I have since we have a lot of German in the rooms, I have a German business partner who has been here for almost 3 years now, and he's trying to build a circular economy solutions here in Vietnam. And it's very early stage of him doing that, and he has to engage himself in a lot of education and raising awareness, and a lot of those complementary, right? So he has been going around, talk to a lot of people, and talking about what is circular economy, what are the how carbon is compensated, and things like that. And it's always a very challenging for him to go around, talk to people, and raise awareness. But as he keep doing that, he always be the one for the local partners to engage when it comes to building solutions, especially at scales like building solutions for the whole industrial park, building solutions for the whole city or province when it comes to urban planning. So I think it's kind of approach that I really want to share with the audience here, is that you do not need to come with a single-minded products or standalone products, but you come here, engage early, and form meaningful partnerships with relevant partners. It could be a government SOE, it could be private partner, or it could be an ecosystem owner, someone who has just built an aviation financial hub, or someone who is going to build an international maritime center. Engage with them, be in the room, and they need you there actually, because they has always been doing logistics. They don't know how to build AI solutions, right? Green energy, how to make a green port. So be in the room, talk to them, and form partnerships before you can actually engage in some commercial deals altogether.
That's interesting. And also, all these like mega developments require mega financing for sure. And I would like to understand how is Vietnam thinking about capital restructuring and attracting more foreign investment and everything. So how do you think like this new platform like VIFC play a role in this?
Yeah, I think that's super important, super important, because if we talk about double-digit growth for this year and beyond, then Vietnam would need a massive amount of capital. We are talking about hundreds of billions. For example, if we want to bring the energy from 80 gigawatt, what we have today, to 150 gigawatt in 2030, we need about 150 billion US dollar.
Say million or billion?
Billion US dollar, 150 billion US dollar. And most of it would be renewable energy, because we have such a long coastal line, perfect for offshore wind energy, solar. So we cannot source finance from within, nor we can source capitals in a small way from overseas, like we have always do over the last decades. We have to create a mechanism for money to flow in at scale. So that's why the IFC was given birth to about a month ago. It's very new, but it's something that historic and unprecedented, because we are talking about a set of unprecedented incentives. We're talking about things that address the pain points of the investors for so long. I remember over the last 3 weeks, I brought former ambassadors, I brought chairmen of the global asset management funds to meet up with the IFC leaders. And I note down almost the similar questions. Everything said that, from what I heard from my business association member, from what I heard from the folk from my countries, they always complain that when they come and invest, they cannot repatriate the monies. And how is it different now that you guys have an IFCs? And the answer is completely different. So within the IFC and with anyone who is the IFC partnership memberships, it's like a total different jurisdiction there. The money coming in and out very flexibly, and even using the common law, not Vietnam law, and we appoint international judge, and the court is speaking English, and the judge decision is final and binding. There's no veto elsewhere by the government. So there's those kind of things that I think that you may really want to lean in and know more about it. And actually, Ho Chi Minh City's IFC will be officially opened next Wednesday. If you are here, do swing by. It's on Nguyễn Huệ Street. It's in a building there which is newly renovated. So it's happening fast, very fast.
I think that is very interesting, because in Dubai, I live close to the IFC. So we can obviously see the way like the country is structuring itself, placing its policy in the way like it attracts very high net worth individual and ultra high net worth individual from globally. So I think the ambition of Vietnam is very aspiring, and it's very exciting time right now.
We have commissioned international consulting firms and also learned a lot from the model of Dubai, Astana, London, Shanghai, and different IFCs around the region. So, and actually the set of legal frameworks that we issue for the Vietnam IFCs are pretty much the international standards that you can see elsewhere in the more established IFCs. So we are very thrilled to share it with the international audience here so that you can actually get to know more and share the words.
So to look at the whole mega development from another perspective, I think Vietnam has a very rare demographic, right? With a large working age population, but also a ticking clock as fertility rates are declining. How does this urgency shape policy and investor thinking today?
Yeah, I think that is, you dig into the very core of the questions. Why Vietnam want to grow a double digit this year and beyond? Can it be so fast and furious? I think it's all boiled down to the key issues that we have to get rich before we get old. So basically, we have a window of times of about 20 years from now until 2045 to become a high-income developed country. That is a very short time, and it has to be done within one generation before all of us get old. And the fertility rate is lower than the replacement rate. So we have around 100 million population and 2/3 of it in the workforce. So we have around 67 people in the workforce now, but with the fertility rate of 1.9, it's not enough to replace, which have to be 2.1. So with that, we have really to adopt the technology innovations to increase the productivity before we have a shrinking workforce. And so that's the very reason why we really need to accelerate our growth, to execute early and to engage every stakeholders, including you here in the room, to contribute to that. And let me just emphasize that technology plays a so important part in this double-digit growth, because we really need to increase the productivities and not increase the number of workers, right? But increase the productivities by automation, by AI solutions, by smart and green solutions. If smart gets us to increase productivities, green gets us or secure us access to international markets which demand sustainability now.
Right. And about timing, why does timing matter so much right now for the international investor who are trying to eye into Vietnam?
Our conversation up to now have all point to the the moment of execution. So nobody is waiting anymore. Everything is clear and everything is moving fast. And actually, down to the province, we have local provincial authorities now up on their toes, because if they're not achieving double digit for their own province, they would no longer be in their seat. So we have commitment from the public sectors as well. And so that's why, and we talk about Asian speed just now and how aptly the topic is, because you should really be here and engage. And don't wait for 5 months like BP a few decades ago, but engage now. After this visit, maybe make a couple more visits within the next couple of months, and really look closely on the ground. Apart from talking your foes to your German associations, embassies, and expats here, do engage local as well, because some of the perspective will be very different from what you as an expats here knows. So I would really recommend you talk to the right local partners and engage with them in forming meaningful partnerships.
Yeah, I think that is very important, right? Like, as much as we talk about AI and automation and everything, which is super important, at the same time, like, not losing the human touch of the things, because at the end of the day, we are serving the people. So how do we localize the thing that we are producing? How are we helping with the development?
Especially, it's very true now that we want to scale, right? So we are not like here and offer one standalone solution for a standalone mid-sized clients. We want to talk about engaging with a whole platform, with a whole ecosystem, how we can be a player in the entire ecosystem of manufacturing, smart cities, and energies, and things like that. I actually have a European companies, a startup, who just work on AI asset management solution for renewable energy companies. So large-scale assets can be operated and maintained and spot errors by AI. So it's very meaningful, and it's one of the perfect ways that they, as the tech startup, tiny little one, can engage with such a large-scale companies. You know, energy is usually like multi-million-dollar companies, but they can engage with them in a very meaningful way, right? And speaking of that, I think Gradient teams know better than a lot of us here how to engage with the big guys, because they're actually providing tech solutions for major infrastructure company here. So I'm sure that you may have heard or share offline by one of their team members. So it's like when I flashed this idea, this topic to Roberto, he totally see the relevance of how these mega things can be relevant to the tech company, even though it's a tech startup or very small size companies, but still can be able to be on equal partnerships with the big guys here in Vietnam.
Yeah. So I think we are almost running out of time. So I think instead of like asking, only me being like the person asking all the questions, I was wondering if there would be any questions in the crowd.
Yes, please.
I think it's a more general question, but how you keep the momentum on this high level?
Oh, yes. I think, like I said, after the party congress, everything is clear, locked in, and everyone knows the direction, everyone have the clarity, what and how and who. So the only things we can maintain this is to, one, to hold everyone accountable. Like I said, even government official now are held accountable. While I was here, I read an article and that says that at the end of the year, if your province doesn't meet the target, you are out. So that kind of accountability is also, again, unprecedented in Vietnam. And our private sector is always the case, right? So if you are senior executives and you are not meeting your targets, then you're out. That's the game of rule. But what is noticeable here is even in the public sector, that sense of accountability is like very clearly visible. So that's how we can hopefully maintain the momentum, and hopefully by this time next year, if we see each other, then we can still see the momentum as strong as it is today. Thank you.
So I come from Dubai. So one thing I like about Dubai is how they have like 2040 urban master plan. And in order to get there, they have 11 different agenda. For example, social agenda, education agenda, economic agenda, and all these stuffs. And one thing I realized that actually work is to hold people accountable for the things, and also to talk a lot about what you are doing to the point that it starts becoming not only accountability to yourself as a doer, but also becomes the marketing so that other people or other countries start knowing what the country is doing. So I think it is such a great initiative. So I think Vietnam's direction and the trajectory and the clarity at which it is going, it's very exciting at the moment, and we'll have to see a lot on how it gained traction while implementing all these. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing all these. And would there be any other question before we, I think we only have like one final, a bit of time, time's up, right? Okay, no time for question. Okay, thank you so much. Yep.